So okay, in this video we will be doing the Kotarak box from the Hack the Box, and the IP address is 10.10.10.55, and I have already done the nmap scan. You can see on all ports SSH is open 8009, so that is Apache JServe. It is hosting the servlets, we don't know, and 8080, that is Tomcat web server, and 60,000, and that is also a web server. So we have two web servers and one Apache servlet server. So let's go ahead and see what this default script scan has revealed. Potentially there are some methods. I have tried all this, but there is no use. There are put and delete. So if you have some user access, then you can upload the files. And I have already run the GoBuster scan on 8080. You can see on 8080 we have nothing. So first let's go to this web page. So there is a manager. It's a simple Tomcat manager. It needs authentication to access any of this content, like uploading web shell, etc. And there is a 60,000 port. So let's go and see first our 8080 port. So it's saying 404 not found. Okay, and on 60,000 port, if you go to normal default page, it says Kotarak web hosting. This is the private web browser to serve web anonymously. Let's see any comments. So you can see here method getting the value and posting it to the url.php. Okay, let's say temp.com. So the temp.com, it did not fetch anything. Okay, so that's what we can do is let's host a web server on our own. Now let's go to that URL. And also on a 60,000 port you have the info.php that reveals the PHP info function that tells us about the PHP versions and OS version, etc. So I will show you that info.php. So here you can search for a few. Where is this? I think it's loading. Yes, you can search for a few juicy information. So if you found any LFI vulnerabilities, so you can see here all are being stored. Okay, that's fine. So now we can say upload. Okay, you can see file uploads on, so you can upload something onto this 60,000 port server. Okay, that should do it. Now let's say size, post maximum size 8 MB, and up next size, so upload maximum size is 2 MB. So this should we could remember this one, 2 MB. And you can see the directory listing for this, so that means you can include any of the content. Okay, now what you can do is let's try for same IP address. So that is the localhost 127.0.0.1 slash let's say port number 22, because we know that 22 port is open, right? So we should see SSH. So that means this URL you put here, it should be included in this path. what I can do is I can say file 27.1 /hc pass dd. So it says try harder. Maybe this is being filtered file. There is no FTP. You can check the open ports on the nmap, what ports are open. 22 is open, and so npp, what this, I don't know npp. So let's go and find this npp. I don't know what I'm getting. Okay, let's leave that one. I think we don't have enough ports to reveal the information because the file protocol is being filtered. There is no FTP, there is no SCP. Okay, let's try the port 21. So it's similar to the netcat. When you connect to the netcat using the ports, you will get the same information, but there are some local services that should be accessible only by this box. So what you can do is you can write the Python script, import request URL is so this is the URL, and here what you need to brute force is this port number, right? So you need to brute force from format of say I, for I in range of let's say 1 to 1000, because I brute force this one, so that's why it took so much time in Python. So here we will get this data. There are few services, 22, 90, 110, that are local services running on the box. Okay, so 1 to 1000 should be enough. Format of I. So this is the URL. R is equals to request dot get of URL. Since we did not log in, we don't need any cookie. Request dot URL. If length of r dot text greater than 0, then print port contains this data dot format of I. So I stands for the respective port in this loop. Print r dot text. Let's say first let's also print the length of r dot text, and print r dot text. So that should do it. Python 3 brute URL dot py. Okay, so you can see port 1 contains the data 2, so 2 bytes. I don't know what those 2 bytes are, so we need to say, instead of 0 we need to say 2, so that should do it. Okay, you need to wait for so much time, so the output will be like this. So 22, we already know that 22 contains SSH, and 90, it contains some under construction, and port 110, so it says bookmark title goes here, and there is nothing here, and 200 contains this data hello world. So when you come to 320 port, you will get this HTML page, and if you go to this Firefox login.html, so instead you can see here action is equals to nothing. So this is a fake page. Even though you enter any admin, it's not going to perform any action. So it's like a rabbit hole here. An interesting port is 888. So this Python script takes so much time, so you need to wait. So I already save this data, and let me copy this and nano port 888.html, paste the content here. Firefox port 888.html. So this should give uh, the files. So click on this backup. So it should take you to doc is equals to backup, right? So if you want to view blah, you can say blah. So this is a local file, that's why we are just going to this references. So here we need to say this reference the URL. So what is the port? 888. Sorry, not 4 8s, 3 8s. So now if I want to include the contents of the backup, I need to say question mark doc is equals to backup. So you can also press Ctrl U. You can see here doc is equals to backup, doc is equals to this is the href to the local reference, and hit enter. There is nothing here. Okay, that's okay. Now let's say blah. So res, so the size is 1 KB, so 1024 s. So let's say tetris.c. So doc is equals to backup. Okay, you can see the size, right? 2.2 KB. So let's go to that and press Ctrl U. Now you can see this is the comment. So this is the license and role name Tomcat, role1, Tomcat, both role1. Password must be changed, and username admin. Password is equals to this one. So we got the password. Now where is our manager? That is on the port 8080, right? So this is the manager. So this manager. So okay, copy this and go to this one. So you can go to normal page. So it's 404 manager. So the recent Tomcat 7 has been changed to manager HTML text JM proxy status. So let's go to HTML to have some nice interface. Okay, paste the password. So admin and the password. So we got this page. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to upload the web shell, and I have spent so much time figuring out why it did not work, because I'm uploading the web shell instead of reverse shell. So reverse shell did work out, but this web shell did not. So let's create the reverse shell, Java shell reverse TCP, and hit enter. So always better go for reverse shell instead of web shells. So it has been created in the home folder, test.var. So let's browse this test.var and deploy this one. So if you go to the test, sorry, we should start the listener. 1 2 3 4. Now go to test. We should see the shell ID. Where am I? Tomcat. So let's upgrade to TTY shell. So there is Python 3. Let's spawn a bash. Now background this process, and in ZSH you need to type these two commands in the same. So if you type only this command, so this ZSH will freeze. Okay, let's, where am I? PWD. So I have checked all these files, but there are no any information. Let's go to home, cd home, and ls. So there are two users, Atanas and Tomcat. So we don't have permissions to this Atanas user. So let's go to Tomcat. So there is a folder to archive. So there is a directory pentest data. So go into that folder, ls, and you can see there is a ntds dit file and binary file. So it's rah. So this is the 12 MB and this is 17 MB. So you can grab both of these files into the carry using the nc. You have the netcat in this box. So there is a netcat, so you can grab this. These files will take so much time. So this ntds dit is like a database for the Active Directory. So it contains all the objects, users, and password hashes, etc. So I have saved somewhere, I don't know where those are. So ntds.dit, and let's locate ntds.bin. Sorry, ntds. Okay, let's stop this script. So okay, in the home directory we have this. Okay, that should do it. Okay, we have the dit file and binary file. So let's, I'm going to use the impacket. There is secret dumps.py, impacket secret dumps, and you can say help. So you need to specify the ntds file and the system. So here system hive is our binary file. minus ntds tds dot dit, and the system is ntds dot bin, and you need to specify the IP address, that is our local machine. It's a local. So credentials, domain, read, and lm hash and nt hash. So we need to grab this nt hash. So let's go to crackstation.net. You can also use John. So these are the files, administrator. So let's grab this and copy and guest Atenas. So you can see Atenas is also in this Linux box. Maybe they may use the same passwords. Bridges. So you can see we got the passwords. This 2b is the Atenas. So let's copy this, and what you are going to do is I'm going to switch to this Atenas. So paste the password. So let's copy this one. Okay, there you go. You can see we are the Atenas. cd home Atenas. So you can see 33 bytes. So we got the normal shell. We need to escalate our privileges. psox grepher root processes. Now, so you can see there is a cron job going on. So I ran the linpiece, and linpiece found that cd root directory is writable. So let's go and check that. So app.rock flag.txt. So I think this is a root flag. Getting closer, but you are looking for can't be found here. Can't be found here. So that means there is another box. You can see this is the DMG. So it's generally located outside of the network, and it's not an actual machine. So you can run the IPA. There you go. You can see there is another adapter that is being connected to this this network 10031. So we are the first one. So okay, there may be other computers. And what I did is I have uploaded the chisel into temp directory and did the pivoting, but there is a timeout for the request, so that's why we cannot scan any ports. Okay, I spent a lot of time there. And cat app.log, and you can see there are some request logs. Sorry, so request is coming from 10.03.133, and at this time, so for every 2 minutes, and get archive.tar.gz, and you can see wget 1.16. So I searched online for wget 1.16, and I got so much of data in the exploit DB. So you can see we can execute the remote code. So let's see how we can take advantage of this. So I will just explain briefly. So I will open the text editor. So generally wget, so we use wget to fetch files from http my box. slash file name dot txt, right? So you use wget to fetch the files from the or the resources from HTTP. So that should fine. Whenever the wget version is less than 1.18, so there is some parsing problem. So whenever I own this box and I'm going to redirect to some, let's say, FTP. So actually the request is for filename.txt from this box. So this is my box, and what I will do is I will redirect this request to my FTP server. Here what I can do is I can say some malicious.exe. So wget instead of will try to fetch this resource, but I will redirect this request to this location, FTP malicious.exe. So wget will go and fetch this malicious.exe. So instead of saving this as filename.txt, it will save as malicious.exe. So it will fetch this one, and in your local folder you will have malicious.exe instead of filename.txt. So you can see there is so much of insecurity here. So that is, we are going to take advantage of this. So okay, they gave the Python script here. So this Python script will automatically whatever the request is sent to this Python script, it will be redirected to the FTP server. So you can copy this. Here it will be basically you cannot write the binary, because that binary is not going to be executed by any process. So what we are going to do is we are going to poison the wget.rc. So wget.rc file contains some variables. Those are set when the wget binary is being executed. Suppose like post file. So whenever there is a post file requesting, the data in this file specified here will be sent as a request. Okay, so we are going to copy the script. So here onwards, so copy the script, and I have already copied this one. Cat wget, so nano wget. So I saved it as wget 116.py, and here we need to set some settings. Okay, I will explain here. First, okay, we will write our wget.rc in our curly box as a post file hc shadow and output document. This one, cron job, we are adding a cron job. So we are installing the pyftpdlib Python module, and we are setting up the FTP server. So here we are setting the HTTP listen port. So this is going to be run on the box. Okay, first I will explain this. So we will run the Python script, and before that we will run the FTP server to host our wget.rc. So whenever there is a request coming to this port 80 on this box, it will be redirected to this FTP and my Kali Linux wget.rc. So it will be downloaded as .wget.rc instead of this file name it is being requested. Okay, after saving this, if the victim is asking for post request, and because we already set the post underscore file name as hc shadow, so we will set this as hc shadow. So whenever there is a post request, the data of the hc shadow is already taken and append, you can see send this to this post request. So we can see the contents of the Etsy shadow, and instead of the response we will send the cron job. So here is the cron job that is being placed in this Etsy cron.d. So here what we are going to do is we are going to say output file, output document. Here we are going to send the data, and it is going to be saved as a cron job. So you can also modify Etsy passwd and add your own user. So that is also up to your wish. So this script is going to be run on the DMG server. So because that is going to receive the wget request from 10.0.3.133, the actual box. So 0000 on all interfaces and port 80, and FTP is going to be hosted on my Kali Linux box. Okay, this is the cron job I am going to add at this Etsy cron.d. So I will show you nano. So you can paste this. What you can do is, instead of Etsy shadow, you can also say root.txt. So that should also do it. Now go to temp. So let's get our Python script. I'm sorry I did not mention the port, that is 8000. So you can see the request here and the script here. Okay, let's set up our FTP server on the port 21, and it should be writable, because the box is going to be I think it no need to be writable, just readable enough. So okay, let's Python. Okay, I did not show you one thing. So when I found the sweep binaries, sorry, so I have tested so many things for privilege escalation vectors. So there is one binary, authbind. So let's say sudo l. So I think we could run the authbind. So I have run successfully. So if you want to host any web server, I will show you Python. If you run this Python, you will see permission denied, because the port is 80 and under 1024 you cannot host the ports. You need the root permission. So authbind. So now you can see FTP found open on this Kali Linux box 21. So let's start our server on 5556. So what happens here is the 10.0.3.133 box tries to do the get request on our this DMG for the archive.tar.gz. So here what we are going to do is, okay, I do not have the file. I am going to redirect to this FTP server. So here FTP server, what we are going to do is we are going to send the wget rc file. So that will be stored in the home directory of the user requesting as it is without changing the file name as archive.tar.gz. So okay, so we need to wait for a few minutes because the request, you can see it is being made for every 2 minutes. That is like a cron job. Okay, now we can see the get request from the IP address, and now we are redirecting to this FTP anonymous at the rate this Kylnex etc. So anonymous is anonymous login. So you can see the 10.0.333.133 has been logged in as anonymous and fetched the file wget-rc. So since wget version binary is less than 1.18 in the case of that box, so it is storing the wget-rc as it is. So now after storing, it will send the post request. So we are asking for the file root.txt. If this file does not exist, you will not get the post request. If you did not get the post request, your cron job is not going to be added. So that's why you need to make sure that this file exists. So I have tried to get the root private key of the root user, but I did not get the post request because there is no private key for the root user. So there is a cron job running. So if there is a successful wget-rc, again it will try to ask for another 2 minutes, and now it is a post request. So now you can see the hash here, that is a root flag, and now we are sending the cron job as a response, and it is going to be stored in this wget root shell because that is what in the wget-rc. Now we should see root shell in 2 minutes, I think so. Okay, did we do any wrong? So bin 5556. Okay, we got the shell. Who am I? Root. So now list the cron jobs. So for every 2 minutes it is running the wget and the URL, that is 1031, that is our DMG server, and output is going to null. Okay, also errors. And then there is another job that is running for every 4 minutes, that is deleting the wget-rc so that we could send the new one. So you can view the root flag. So this is this looks somewhat easy, but it takes so much of enumeration and a lot of time. So that's all about this video. Kotarack.